戦場へ向かいましょう。モビルスーツ隊順次発進です。皆さんファイトですよ。作戦スタートです。
Hello everyone, this is Ninja Guy _12 here, bringing you the, well, for this first half, the Pale Rider Cavalry, and we'll talk about, the Pale Rider space type later. So, obviously, this first part is just going to be my match with the Cavalry, which, actually, I'm not really as good with the Cavalry anymore. I'm, like, a lot better with basically every other Pale Rider except for this one now. When this one was kind of my go-to other than the Pale Rider Ground Heavy Arms, but now it's just kind of my least used and I'm not really good with this suit anymore. But I still do relatively okay at this match, so that's why, even though I lost this one, I still thought it was worthy enough to just put up along, besides the Pale Rider Space type match you'll see later, which I did amazing. So, before we continue, I do want to mention, if you guys want to know the certain colors that I've used, you could always ask me in the comments down below, or on my Discord server, which the link to that's in the description down below. It will always be there, along with my Patreon. Just so I, have it in the link. So, obviously, these two gameplays were brought to you by, Buddy, aka Johanna, who made these certain requests, so I got some nice matches to put up for this, so that's quite nice. So, basically, the first match we have, the kind of colors going on is, Johanna wanted me to use the Pale Rider Cavalry in the Dragon R1 colors. I'll have an image up in a second, right now, just so you guys can see what the colors you want me to use on the Cavalry. And they aren't best. I feel like if I had more time, I would have gone and maybe found a different suit that would probably work better than the Cavalry, but I couldn't, so that didn't really work out very well. But Johanna, I sent a picture of what the colors looked beforehand, and he was like, that's fine. Even though I'm not a fan of it personally, but especially on the shield, like, the shield is like the one part of this that really looks off, because it doesn't even look remotely accurate. So, there you go. But otherwise, these colors aren't too bad. I tried always matching it as closely to the image that I receive or whatever I find. I feel like I matched the colors quite well. And, I guess in certain areas, especially I think the legs for me are like the best part for this, but otherwise everything else didn't really work out so well, in my opinion. But anyways, the Pale Rider Cavalry is a 350 General, level 1, goes to level 2 at 400, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a level 3 and 4 in the future, which is going to be 450, 500 for that. So basically, all the same levels as, or same level and cost as the prototype Gundam, which I'm mentioning because it uses the exact same beam grappling as this suit does. So it's inevitable that we'll be getting a level 3 and 4 Cavalry, and so I'm just waiting for that, even though I'm not really good at this suit anymore. I was pretty decent with it, along with the Pale Rider Ground Heavy Arms, but now I'm just like forever stuck being really good with the Pale Rider Space type and the Pale Rider Doma, while the Ground Heavy Arms and the Cavalry are just suits that I'm not really as good with anymore. Especially the Cavalry. I did get a decent enough match, even though we lose, but I felt like I did relatively okay as the first time using this suit in, like, I think over 2 months. So it's been a while since I've used this. So there's not really much else to mention here. I'll just kind of briefly go over the weapons and just simple things real quick. So basically, the weapons this thing has, well, it's really only main primary weapon is the Shekinah combined Gatling gun thing. I know it's the first part is Shekinah, but I don't remember the rest of it. And basically, it's like a 3-in-1 weapon combo, which I think is really cool. And it is also this thing, even though it's not in the game yet, this weapon is also technically used on suits called the Pale Rider D2, which is the 4th Pale Rider unit, because there was only, I think, 4 produced. So there was, Unit 1 was the one that's been using Link, so the Pale Rider Grand Heavy Arms and the Space Type. And then it would eventually become the Pale Rider, or not the Pale Rider, the Totus Ritter. Then you have Pale Rider Unit 2, which is the Cavalry here. And I think this one, unfortunately, gets destroyed by Pale Rider Vincent Fleischner. RBG. And basically, that one is also a slight variation to Pale Rider Unit 1, which I don't remember too much about it. It's just like, it has like Jaeger arms and like 2 nugget on it. It's kind of pretty badass. So I guess technically, if you want to go about it, it's for Unit 1, it's Pale Rider Ground Heavy Arms, then Pale Rider Space Type, then Pale Rider Vincent Leichner, and then Toad's Ritter. Then Pale Rider Cavalry is Unit 2, and doesn't really, has a lot of features that Unit 1 had, because this is technically, like the kind of cost-saving measure. And obviously it was equipped with less weapons, but it basically made it up by giving it a 1 in 3 weapon instead. And it also removed many of the weapon hard points on it, so that's why you can't actually use the leg missiles like Unit 1, the Ground Heavy Arms version did. That's why I can't use these, because the weapon hard points that used to exist are gone. So that's kind of unfortunate, and this thing would later be destroyed again, like I mentioned earlier. And also, it also has the Hades limiter, which technically makes it not as good as the original Hades, but basically reduces all the kind of negative side effects of the Hades system to begin with. So, take it as you will, and technically in this game, like, it's not as, like, not different between the Hades on the Pale Rider Ground Heavy Arms or Space Type. They're basically all the same, to be honest, so not much there. And then we all know about the Dolohan, which is Pale Rider Unit 3. So the interesting thing about that one is technically it reuses parts from from RX-71, 2, and 3 instead of Unit 4 and 5, which pretty much all the other Pale Riders are kind of based on. Dolohan doesn't really have many, reusable parts from Unit 4 and 5, but I guess technically in this game they ignored that by giving it the Hyper Beam Rifle that's also used by Gundam Unit 4 and 5. So, yay for ruining canon, I guess. And then also, obviously I mentioned Pale Rider D2, which is the kind of last unit, I guess, created, because originally the Pale Rider was like a idea for a mass production unit, but never got the chance to because it was hella expensive, because it was not only reusing parts from Gundam Unit 4 and 5, but it was also based on the Gym Sniper 2 frame. So that's why there was only 4 Pale Riders technically produced, and why it was never actually mass produced, because obviously the Federation was cheap. They were always cheap. But anyways, now we're going to move on to space, and with the Pale Rider Space Type, this is a 550 room, and I'm using my level 3 Pale Rider Space Type, which is a 500 pointer, which means I'm going 50 points down. And it didn't really go that well. Actually, it went a lot better than expected. So, I'm surprised I did really well, especially considering the team comp they had on their team. But anyways, so, for this request by Johanna, he wanted the Pale Rider Space Type in AG02 colors, whatever. I'll go with the full thing in a second, but I'm going to have an image up right about now. just so you guys could see. So basically, the full thing, its full name is apparently AG-02 AGWS colors for that. That's what he requested. Actually, originally he wanted it on the GB03, but when I told him the color separation was complete ass, he just went with the Power Rider Space type, and it looks a lot better on this suit, in my opinion, and I think it actually looks really good, actually. I think it turned out far better than the Cavalry's kind of colors that he requested. So, I'm glad it actually turned out well, and definitely might actually keep this, or just have it somewhere to every once in a while I could just put this on my space type and just, you know, have it, because it does look really nice. Oh god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But anyways, so the first kind of minute or two of this match doesn't really go that well for me because I miss a lot of my beam rifle shots, but the rest of it goes really smoothly. So I'm kind of happy about that because I didn't want, you know, 2 losses for this video. So I'm glad it turned out really well, especially going 50 points down, which I don't normally do, but I did for this one match because there was only 550 space. I was like, well, I kind of had to get this request done anyway, so I might as well bring it out, and I did pretty well. But anyway, so the Power Rider Space type is a 400 point general at level 1. It'll go up to 500 at level 3. I'm pretty sure this might be a level 4, which would make it 550, and then level 5 would be 600. I'm hoping for those eventually because, I mean, it does have a lot of weapons that are technically level 5 and whatnot, but it can't actually really use unless, you know, you're unrestricted and whatnot. Basically, this thing could equip a lot of weapons. Well, not really a lot. It could equip 1 of 3. The one weapon it comes with as standard is the Hyper Beam Rifle, which, again, is used by Unit 4 and 5. It could equip the Bullpop Machine Gun, which is used by a shit ton of Federation mobile suits. From the simple, weak, puny little gyms like the Gym Command and the Gym Command Space type, to more like kind of specialized units and Gundams, even like the Gundam GP01, the GP01 Full Burner, and the Gym Sniper 2. So a lot of suits could use that bullpop, and then the Hyper Bazooka, which is basically used by a shit ton of Federation mobile suits as well. Mainly like the standard Gym, the Gym Commands, the Gundam, the Dolahan actually uses that same bazooka as well. A lot of Federation mobile suits uses that bazooka, so it could equip a lot of weapons, and unfortunately, they're not really the suit itself, but like the design of the space type is not really my personal favorite. I prefer the ground heavy arms more, because there's really 2 things I don't really like about the space type. For one, the shield. I like the slide shield from Unit 4 and 5, but I just prefer the kind of Gym Striker shield, because I think that one looks way more unique than the slide shield. And then also the fact that this thing, for some reason, can't technically be used on the ground. I guess it has some space-specific thrusters, but like, it basically almost looks exactly to the ground heavy arm, so it's like, why can't you use it in ground? Because also, Unit 5, like, also could be used on ground and space, so like, why does this specific Power Rider, I mean, sure, it's called the space type, but I feel like it could very easily be used on the ground as well. It's not like suits can't, you know, be equipped with ground thrusters or whatnot. I mean, pretty much a lot of suits, you know, like the standard Gym and the Gym Sniper 2 and whatnot, could be used on ground and space. Why can't this thing? But whatever. So there's not really too much different from the Power Rider ground heavy arms between and this one. Really, the kind of sub-weapons are really the difference, and the primary weapons. Other than that, most of the kind of skills and stuff are the same. It's just the space type has some space-specific skills. But anyways, the kind of weapons that separate it is the fact that instead of the cannon and the leg-mounted missiles, are replaced with the giant Gatling gun on here. which is technically ripped off from the Gunmuted 5, but this one is actually kind of different in the fact that I think this one does a little less damage, but it does shoot a lot faster. So that is really nice. I feel like it is a little bit better than Unit 5's Gatling gun because of the fact that you shoot a lot faster, because less damage doesn't really mean a whole lot when you're being able to stagger people faster with the Gatling, so that's quite nice. I think it's definitely better than the Unit 5 BST's Gatling gun, because that thing basically does no damage. But, enough about the suits that aren't in this video. But, other than that, really everything else is the same between the Space Type and Ground Heavy Arms. The head-mounted Vulcans, the wrist-mounted arm beam guns that are basically taken from Unit 4 and 5. The double beam sabers, of course. And then, not much else, really. It's just a lot different. I'm running out of things to say, I'm so sorry. But, I guess at this point now, just want to take some time to say, I'm not really, hoping, I'm just planning, because I don't think I'd ever get more popular than this, but, more than 30 subscribers, but basically, if my channel does eventually hit 500 subscribers, I may do a giveaway at that point, along with a Q&A video. Basically, what I'd be probably giving away is like a P-Bandai HG kit for if I hit 500 subscribers. I don't know which one, I would have to kind of sort that out, but basically I'd be doing that because you guys are like helping me out, just basically encouraging me to make videos if we do hit that point. But until then, and not really discussing about future plans, because I don't even know if I would do YouTube full-time, because I'm already working full-time anyway. But otherwise, this kind of 2 requests that Johanna made were fun. They're definitely a lot better than some of the other requests that I've gotten. I think probably one of the worst egregious offenders was frickin' Mao's Slave Wraith video, which I've finally gotten like a decent enough match with it to actually post it. So, if you're watching this, Mao, expect that video to go up sometime in the future. But otherwise, this match turned out really well, and I think I did, top kills and top individual. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed these, or your request video on Johanna, and I will talk to you guys later.